I've seen you. I've patrolled these empty thoughts before, but I'm fixed now on the cure. I'm holding on to the last rock on the mountaintop, and I'm begging for your love. Do you remember the type of folk we used to be, and the simple souls we used to see? Do you remember a fallen man with no escape? It seems he lives in yesterday. If you played away, well, I forgive you once again. I'm losing patience, and I know for sure that we've been right here before. I see the dangers, baby, I'm not crying over you. There's no point in denying we're through, 'cause baby, I'm not crying over you. There's just shit that I've gotta do, so I'm not crying. I've been playing, you're coming back for more. Do you remember the type of folk we used to be, and the simple souls we used to see? Do you remember a fallen man with no escape? It seems he lives in yesterday. If you played away, well, I'll forgive you once again. I'm losing patience, and I know for sure that we've been right here before. I see the dangers, baby, I'm not crying over you. There's no point in denying we're through, 'cause baby, I'm not crying over you. There's just shit that I've gotta do, so I'm not crying.
I give in to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. I'm reaching out for the easy high. Please fortify this strength of mine. Comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Do not do this at home.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we in steak, remember sleeping on
I
the
need
floor.
a lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in.
That's gotta be so... I'm so sorry, guys. I keep forgetting to fix that every time I go live. But welcome. I'll do a whole intro here once this 1 minute intro is done playing.
42 minutes to make a drink on stream. Just 42. I don't like short hair, Nico. Bring back the long hair. It's actually really good. I have good news, and I have...
My hair used to be so long, guys. Hi, hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Nico. I go by Cointrick and Cointrick Twitch online. And today, I'm already out of breath. Today, I'm going to be grinding some grains. What is that on there? Right there. Oh, that's a little diagram of how this thing works. Well, that's convenient. Camera 1, maybe. It'll show up on there. Nope. No luck. There we go. You can kind of see it. It's a little diagram that just tells you how to put this thing together because it came in pieces. Camera 1, that feels overexposed to me. I'm gonna walk around and fix that because that's gonna bug me. Everyone watch the intro again. No, I'm kidding. Hold on, give me 1 second. No, there we go. Ow! I mean, I'm so manly. I didn't hit my funny bone at all during that entire thing. So today, the point of this live stream is that I am going to be making, or not making beer exactly, but I'm going to be preparing a bunch of different kinds of grains to make 5 experimental batches of beer. Yes, all of that sounds correct in my head and coming out of my mouth. So, the 5 grains that we have, and by the way, 22 Johnson and Red Unknown, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. So we have millet, which has already been hulled. Let me try and dip this thing down, and we'll show you guys camera 2 so you guys can get a better view. Boop. There we go. That's my microphone. I apologize for that. But we have millet, which is just, it's a grain. It has extra nutritional value compared to like wheat and barley, which is what you would normally make beer out of. We have, I believe this is pronounced farro, not farro, which is actually a kind of grain. Farro or farro refers to just ancient, like a whole species of ancient grain in general. I don't know specifically what subspecies this is, but this is one thing that we have. We also have, I lied, this is the millet, which means this is bulgur, B-U-L-G-U-R. This is millet, or millet, or however it's pronounced. We also have the one, probably, that everyone has heard of. Whoop! Joaquin. I'm kidding, this is quinoa. It's a whole ton of quinoa. And then one that you probably think you've heard of, which is amaranth. A-M-A-R-A-N-T-H. Not the live streamer. The live stream strip is A-M, I think it's A-M-O-U-R is the way she spells her username. But yes, amaranth. So, why am I using these 5 grains? Well, soon here we're going to be starting a crowdfunding campaign to make a beer that is going to be a blend of these 5 and potentially also barley, which is what you would normally have in a beer. Yours truly, 76. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going? But the reason we picked these is because they have extra nutritional value compared to barley, which is basically carbs and some like iron and zinc and a few things that your body does need that don't always survive that fermentation process that you have to take place in order to make beer. So between all of these, you have a lot of extra protein. You have manganese, magnesium, zinc, potassium. Oh Lord, there's a lot of things. I have 14 pages of handwritten notes on why we chose these 5. Originally, we were also going to do something like chia seeds, but these 5 also come very close in their concentration of all of their macronutrients, meaning protein, fat, and carbohydrates. They're very similar in that composition to barley. So the idea is that they should behave the same way if you run them through the same processes that you would run barley through in order to make beer from scratch. They should behave relatively similarly. I know for a fact that you can make beer from farro, but the rest of these I have never heard of. So, the very first thing that we have to do is mill all of them. And I could, if I was lazy, I could just detach this and I could put a drill right here on this handle and I could make it relatively painless. But if you're new here, you know I don't ever do anything easily because I am an idiot. And my mama raised me wrong. So I'm going to be doing the entire thing by hand. If it gets too loud, like crunching everything, I'll let you guys know. Just for some housekeeping, there's a little dial right here. I'm going to move all of these over to the side. I'm also recording this for YouTube. So, whoop, camera 1. Here on the side, you can see... maybe, hopefully, kind of. Get it in there for my editor. Right next to the handle right there, that is a dial that lets you... You guys will never believe this, but I caught the bag on my foot. I'm not allowed to show you my foot because this is Twitch, and Twitch is weird. There's a little dial that lets you basically select how close the 2 burrs are to one another. I'll show you guys what the burrs are here on camera 1 again. Probably easier to do on camera 2, actually. So, yeah, that's a good shot next to all those grains. So right inside of here, in there, you can't see the burrs actually from this angle, but the burrs basically are these 2 cylinders that will mash up everything that you put in there. That dial decides how far or close those burrs are from one another. Does it go that way? Does it go this way? I feel like that's supposed to go on the outside because this feels much more stable. Anyway. I'm going to put it on the inside just in case because I don't want to pull on it and have the whole thing tip over. That was a really good catch. Yeah, I don't know how that happened and I couldn't do it again if I tried, so don't ask. Oh, and these are all of my dad's diplomas that I got from Belgium. Thank you, all of my family over there. I miss you all very, very greatly, actually. I'm going to put these off camera really quick and make sure that I don't get them dirty. They are older than I am. Also, yes, protect your feet. People are strange. People are strange. I feel like, is that a door? I feel like that's not the actual lines from the song. What is the song by The Doors? It's not People Are Strange, is it? Is it just strange? I don't remember. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to start grinding these down. But to run you guys through the general process of what's going to happen in order to turn these into beer. It is a long and involved process, but I'm going to try and keep it, not simple, but I'm going to try and keep it, you know, high concept or high level. I'm going to try and keep it easy to understand. Once you grind these down and you break the hull of everything, all of these grains and stuff, the more fine that you make it, the easier this process becomes. Then you have to basically put it under heat in order to extract those sugars. Otherwise, your yeast will have a harder time converting those into alcohol and carbon dioxide and different things. That process of extraction is very complicated, and that's a subject for another video. For now, we're just going to be grinding these. Once they're extracted, they become essentially malt extracts, and then they're ready to be made into beer almost instantly, which is why that has to be done in a separate video. I don't have the time to begin and make all 5 of these batches from scratch today. But if I grind them down, there should be very little oxidation or any kind of decay or anything to these before I'm ready to use them in that final batch. People Are Strange is the song title. Yes, I knew it. When you're strange. That is the lyric. That's right. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. All right. So now, without further ado, I have different sanitized buckets for each one of these 5 batches, and I have a 6th one. We're going to make a 6th batch that is just going to be a regular, like, barley or light malt extract, like, beer kit. And that's going to be our control. So we're going to be making 1 regular beer and then 5 experimental batches. And the only thing that we're changing between each of these batches is that we're going to substitute all of the barley content, I guess, all of the regular grain content in this IPA recipe that we're going to be running. And I'll explain the IPA recipe in a minute. But we're going to be using just different grains in all of these batches in place of the liquid malt extract, in place of any like solid grain or anything like that we have. Insert 13th, welcome, thank you for tuning in, thank you for the follow on Twitch, I appreciate it. And then we're going to be making 1 regular batch to test everything against, because the point of this is to see if you can make a viable beer that has some of these extra nutritional values from these extra grains that retains all of that flavor that you want from your beer in the first place. Ancient Edie, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going? Beer's fun. I like beers. I should open one, actually, in point of fact. Should I open a beer now? I feel like I know what the answer to this question is going to be. Should I open a beer now, or should I wait until I've done any modicum of work? Well, actually, you know what? I know the answer to this question. I want to open a beer now because a wise man once told me, you can't get drunk at work if you show up drunk to work. It was me. I said that. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. See, that wasn't so hard. This bottle right here, you will notice, does not have any labels or anything on it. That is because I made it here. In point of fact, I have made beer in the past, just not this intricately, even though I don't ever make anything easy for myself. And I tend to err on the side of chaos. I tend to change something every time I make a beer. Even if I'm running off of a pre-existing recipe, I tend to just mess with it, for lack of a better term. And that's kind of what's led us down this path to doing this and actually making pretty much the entire beer from scratch. So let me open this really quick. This is just a regular golden, I think a golden wheat ale that I made alongside my brother and my friend Dylan a while ago. I cannot find my regular beer opener, so we're just going to use a regular bartending trick here. Boop. If you're good, you don't lose the cap. You heard me. Shots fired. Alright. Cheers, guys. Oh, God. Oh, that tastes better every time I try it. Alright. So, which one do we start with? Should I put it up to a vote? Should I let you guys decide? I may regret this. Should I let you guys decide which grain we grind first? You'll notice I have more of some of these than others, and the millet that I have, this one back here, I actually have 3 other packs like this. I don't want to get into the reason why currently, because I'm going to spoil that in a future live stream, but I do need to grind everything that I have in front of me. One quick aside, I'll pick that up in a minute. If you look here, you'll see that looks very, very fine. It almost looks like sand. So the amaranth may not be super cooperative in this experiment. And if that happens, that means I'm just going to have to grind it again and again and again and again until I like where it's at. Absolute worst case scenario means that I have to run this through something like a coffee grinder, which can get very, very fine, like the way that you would make espresso. I don't want to do that because I anticipate it gumming up a grinder like that. So, just for comparison's sake, you see those like much more defined, like bigger individual grains. This is the bulgur. So this is probably going to be a lot easier to grind up. I'm kind of worried that the amaranth is just going to shoot straight through the grinder here. So, actually, the very first thing I need to do is make sure that I have this set as fine as it will go. And I don't want to admit this, but it is more or less an eyeball adjustment. There are like little readings here that you can go by, but they don't really seem particularly accurate. Okay. That was smooth. Thank you. I appreciate that. By the way, the Assassinator, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Or welcome back, actually. Username looks familiar. We'll start with, unless someone wants me to do something else, I am going to start with this one because I think it's going to be the easiest one to do. God help me. And wish me luck. Okay. Everyone witness me putting the scissors back in the drawer and closing the drawer. If I lose it later and I ask you guys where it is, somebody, for the love of God, remind me that I put it back. Having a pair of scissors in your house is like having cigarettes in prison. Alright. Let's get this little rubber seal back in place. Maybe, hopefully. There we go. Okay. Camera 1. Is this going to look better in camera 1? I think probably, maybe. There we go. It's probably really loud on the mic, actually. Alright. There we go. That's the thumbnail. Yeah, flare. That is 3.5 pounds of bulgur. For each of the 1 gallon batches that we're gonna make, it's a slightly different measurement. It's a slightly different weight or mass, actually, of each of these that I need, because they don't all have the same concentration of carbohydrates. They don't have the same content of carbohydrates. So, like for example, the amaranth, I believe I need a 1.55 pounds to mimic the same amount of carbohydrates that I would have in this recipe for barley, but for the amaranth I think I need 1.48 or something like that. So it's not going to be an exact science, but I am going to grind all of these, and then once they're all ground, when I'm ready to make the beer, that's when I'm actually going to weigh out the specific weight of each of these that I need. Am I putting this off? Am I procrastinating? Am I stalling? Yes, but I'm done stalling now. Oh, there, that's a good sign. We've got resistance here. Oh, it's so easy. You could do this with a power drill? That's probably really loud on the mic, actually. Yeah, there we go. The hills are alive with the sound of bad decisions. There's so much of this. I wish I had a top-down camera to show you guys. I can't tilt it over or everything will pour out. Oh, man. Okay. Now I'm glad I have 2 hours to do this whole thing. I thought it was all just gonna go shoop straight through the thing. Okay. Okay, clearly I am supposed to actually hold this down. Got it. Oh, why is it so squeaky, though? Oh, it's this piece. How do I make that less fucking painful? What if I did it this way? What if I turned it away? Did it left-handed? I feel like that's just as loud. Such a lovely noise. It looks like the grains, once they're ground, they kind of it looks like bird seed. Hold on. I'm going to touch it with my bare hands. You don't do this at home, obviously. But it kind of looks like the hull is breaking on these. It's such a small difference. So, actually, camera 2, it might be easier to show you guys potentially. So these, you may be able to tell, the chunks are a little bit bigger, and there are fewer of them. This is the same weight, just smaller pieces. But I don't have a camera that is going to get close enough with enough resolution to show you guys this. The pieces are getting just barely smaller. But the point is actually to break the hull of these grains individually so that the sugars can express more easily once you expose them to heat. So all of that being said, I think I'm probably going to have to run these twice. And I may cave and get a drill or something that will do it electronically. If for no other reason than I hate the sound of that squeaky wheel. Or I'll get some WD-40. One of the two. Oh God, I wish Dylan was here. Speaking of Dylan, I'm not procrastinating or putting that off at all. But speaking of Dylan, he's still recovering from surgery. He had I believe his meniscus and his ACL repaired in the same surgery less than a week ago. I think it was last Tuesday or last Wednesday. And he's obviously on bed rest and so many painkillers. He can't operate heavy machinery, which I now believe this qualifies as, but he also can't drive. He couldn't be here today as much as he wanted to. He said he's probably going to be a couple of weeks before he gets back here on the live stream with us on a Monday again, but he is part of the Uber Beer project. John Luke would be here as well, but he is upstairs sleeping because he's been working like a dog. So, I really wish I had a drill. Oh God, you know who would have a drill? John Luke. John Luke would have a drill. You know what, though? I owe it to myself to try and finish one of these by myself. Oh, God damn. Progress! Good God. I should have taken pre-workout. Holy hell. Oh, hold on. There we go. You know what that means? There we go. Autofocus. Thank you, camera 1. Liam Beans, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. I think either I broke my mill or it's done grinding. I believe it's done grinding. All right, what do we have? And please, Lord God, tell me I don't have to do that again. going to do a very non-scientific test. Unsurprisingly, it smells like bird food as well. So I think this is going to be it for the Bulgur, which was 3.5 pounds. That is the second most of any of these I think that I have. The most of any one of these that I have currently is the quinoa, which I have 10 pounds. No, that's not true. I changed this out. I have 4 pounds of quinoa, 5 pounds of amaranth, and I lied. I have more millet than I have anything else. Or millet, however it's pronounced. I'm doing good, getting ready to take an oceanography exam. How are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Also, good luck on your exam. Liam? Oceanography? What do you... are you majoring in marine biology, or just interested in oceanography in general? Okay. There we go. No, not that one. Clean rag. Well, now that I have this out, actually, I can show you guys what the burrs look like. So these, right here, one of them spins, and obviously the other one spins when you're passing things through it, and this is what happens when you put your finger in there. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't ban me, Twitch. I'm not putting myself in danger. Not more than usual, anyway. There we go. I didn't realize that wasn't locked in place. The more you know. Okay. In an ideal world, you would either have separate mills for each grain, or you would have the time to sanitize this between batches. This is not an ideal world. This is the one we live in. So, I'm not going to do that. Before I go into cardiac arrest trying to mill another one of these things, I want to hear from you guys. Which one do you want me to do next? We finished milling all of the bulgur that I have. Do you want to see the amaranth next, the quinoa, the millet, or the farro? The farro is the one that fell on the ground. I'm going to grab that while you guys make up your minds. I'm also going to grab the other millet bags that I have. Millet! Nano B, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up on YouTube. I appreciate it. I would like to see amaranth from Liam Bean. Thank you for spelling it correctly and not using the spelling of the live streamer. It looks like, well, okay, that's 2 votes for amaranth currently over on Twitch. So that one is in the lead. Unless someone else wants to throw their hat in for millet. Going once. Going twice. I think you just want to see me grind the millet because it is the one I have the most of. And it is the one that is most likely going to make me break a sweat. Going 3 times. I'm not stalling. You are. Alright. The amaranth it is. Really quick disclaimer again, if anyone wasn't here earlier when I was explaining this. The amaranth is also already the finest grain that I have. So there is a high chance that either it's just going to shoot straight through the mill, or I won't be able to break the hull on this. So I may need to run it multiple times. The mill is currently set as fine as it can grind anything. In worst case scenario, I will have to run it through something that is designed probably to grind like coffee. I don't want to do that because if I do, it will probably make whatever that machine is unusable for anything else. So, all of that being said, I remembered where I put the scissors. Hold on. Okay, well now I'm glad I have scissors. Perfect. Scissors. Back in the drawer. If you're wondering, amaranth smells like dirt. Alright. Here we go. You know what time it is. Time to get that thumbnail. Which means we're going to put this over here, right? Yeah, and I'm going to pour it from this side. Alright, make sure that amaranth is facing outward. We're going to go. Is this a good thumbnail? Is my hand in the way? Woo, flash! It would have been really embarrassing if it didn't all fit in here and I just ended up spilling it everywhere. So, kind of my worst fear. You guys can probably hear this on the mic already. It is just going straight through the grinder. So much easier than the last one. Just sounds like rain. Sounds so peaceful. Hannah, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate it. I'm gonna mill it anyway in the hopes that I am gonna break up some of anything that is in here. I can't actually tell if this is easier or harder than the last one. I mean, there's less resistance, obviously. And I apologize for the squeaking. I'm going to try and refine my method. I'm going to try and limp wrist this. That seems to make it quieter. Yeah, I don't think this is making a difference in the grind. Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Like a well-oiled machine. Well, yeah, there's not really even any dust from the grains at all up in the top. I'm gonna grab the same rag that I used to wipe down the last one. Yeah, there's not really anything in there at all. So, woof. Well, that might be that. I may try and find some sort of conical burr grinder, the kind of thing that you would use to grind like espresso. I may try and find something like that I can confidently run this through, and by God, I will try to find an electric one. But that is it for the amaranth for now. Kind of anticlimactic. I'm sorry for that, guys. Ugh. And that brings us to our halftime show, which is not actually a show. It is where I let you guys know that I forgot to grab the rest of the buckets, and I will be right back. And also lids, because lids are helpful. Lids help keep things out of things you don't want them in. Good. I'm also going to have to remember to label those, so I don't want to seal them just yet and then have to guess, like, I think I put the amaranth in this one. Alright, lids, sanitary towel. Alright, so the runner-up last time was the millet. Which you can't really see it that well, but it looks actually very similar to the amaranth. The grains themselves might be a little bit bigger. You can kind of see them in there. Let me see. I'm gonna open this up. Every time. Why do I even have scissors in the bar? Why? Why, guys? Alright. So. Oh. Alright, against my better judgment. Come on now. That little pip right there. That is probably not even in my hand anymore. I probably dropped it, actually. That is as big as the millet grinds are. They are a little bit bigger than the amaranth was. Actually, in fact, I do kind of want to make sure. I'm going to grab some of the amaranth and just do a side-by-side really quick. But we're going to use camera 2 so that you guys can see them as well. Couple of these clean rocks glasses that you guys should be able to see through. Camera 2. Get it right where the focus is. So that is what the millet looks like, and the amaranth has gone through the mill, but like I said, it didn't really change in size. I'm going to fill this with amaranth, and you'll be able to see what the two look like side by side. So this is the amaranth. You can tell it kind of looks like it's the consistency of sand because it's a lot more fine. This kind of looks like the world's smallest unpopped corn is what that looks like. So this might actually gum up the mill, which is a good thing. It means that it might actually break the hulls of the grains itself. So the millet will actually probably produce better results than the amaranth, but we'll see. Hopefully the amaranth works out because it does have apparently the highest nutritional value of any of the grains that we chose. So that's kind of the one that we're really banking on working. Kind of like the live streamer. All right. Time for the moment of truth. Will it mill it? Will it mill it? Will it mill? Actually, hold on. I got a better thumbnail for this one. But keep that in your minds. Will it mill it? Is he stalling? Does he know what he's doing? Yes, he does. Okay. Get it? Will it? Mill it? Because this is Millet. Get it? Hold on. Get it? I can't hear the music. This is much more awkward for me than it is for you guys. Alright. How do we frame this up? Alright, everybody. How do we do this? Okay. I'm thinking one on either side, right? That probably looks better than two in one hand. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. All right, here we go. Hold on. What am I, an amateur? Labels facing out. Okay, that's how you get sponsors, guys. I'm gonna get sponsored by a whole grain, maybe at some point, potentially. Okay. Now, if that was unsatisfying, camera 3, if that was unsatisfying to you, just like my ex-wife, I have good news. I have 2 more bags. That's good news for you guys. Bad news for me because this stuff is really hard to grind. That's not a good sign. The grains shouldn't just fall out of the thing by themselves. And I'm suddenly remembering why exactly I have scissors down in the bar. I am double remembering why. It's because I am dumb enough to need them, but smart enough to use them without supervision. Legally. Put that on a shirt somewhere. That is not how that bag is supposed to open. Whatever. It suddenly struck him, the sobering realization that he might not have enough space on his hard drive to record this entire live stream. It was then that Nico told himself, oh well, sucks to suck. Alright, let's do this again. Camera 1. Take 2. Crazy eyes this time for the thumbnail? What do you think, guys? Just... Actually, hold on. I don't know if it'll all fit. Ah, yes. Yes, bad decisions all around. This is the first time that you guys can actually see the grains are piling up out of the side, not the silo, the hopper. Oh god. So, first crank, how's this gonna go? It's easier. It's easier than the millet. Obviously not as easy as the amaranth, because the amaranth just fell through the hopper. Okay. Alright. Squeaky wheel. Wagon wheel starts playing. Hunter, what is up, man? Thank you for tuning in and giving me an excuse to not, break my rotator cuff. How's it going, dude? Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate it. Am I stalling? No, I'm Nico. What is going on here? This looks pretty grainy, grindy. I am grinding grains, making a beer. I'm actually making 6 different batches of beer from scratch. But no, you're not. I'm making 6 different batches of beer from scratch. I'm using 5 grains that you don't normally use in a beer. I am realizing why some of them are not used in beer. But it's all part of a larger experiment that you guys will learn more about later on when I dive more into why exactly we've chosen these, and when we get into the stage of like blending them together to try and make kind of like a big macronutrient beer later on. Yo, from scratch, that's so cool. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's luckily not the first time I've made beer. But it is this is gonna be, I make it harder for myself every time, and this is easily far and away the hardest way I could have thought of making beer. You think grinding this stuff is hard? Wait till you see what grain extraction looks like. Okay, it's science. Yeah, sure it is. Yep, that's what it is. Not just boredom, not just manic boredom. There actually is a significant amount of science and a really, really boring amount of math involved in everything that's led to this moment. If you had one moment, one opportunity to bore yourself to death, would you capture it? Or just do something better with your time? Oh god, math. I'm not really super afraid of math. I feel like it's a tedious necessity. I am so sorry, by the way. This crank is right in front of the mic. I doubt you guys can even hear me speaking. That's why I did this left-handed before. Okay. Passed math just hardly. What kind of math? Well, Liam, wait, was it... Liam, you were the one studying for an oceanography exam? The only reason I ask is because if you're taking an oceanography exam, wouldn't you be in university, which means you wouldn't be taking math, or maths, just generic. You would be in... Yeah, so then, are you... It shouldn't just be like math class, right? You're probably in algebra, trig, calculus, or something like that then, probably? Is this what the Sigma grind set looks like? Yeah, bro, Sigma males. All the way. All of the Greek alphabet letter dudes. All of those. Can't live with them. So my college situation is confusing. I started college way earlier than others. That's fair. Nano B, what is up? If you do watch My Hero Academia, I do, I'm caught up. If you were to make a drink after each character, what would you do? Starting off with Deku. How is his name pronounced? Because when I read the subtitles, I kind of like lose the pronunciation of the names. But I think it's Deku, isn't it? Or Midoriya or whatever, which is technically, I guess, his last name, depending on who you ask. No, Izuku is his... Anyway, whatever. I would be... I love Deku. Clever. If I were to make a drink after him, it would be something that involves... it would be a green drink that uses Midori, which is, luckily, a green melon-flavored liqueur from Japan. So, I would do... I would want to do something that's like has bitterness and some salinity in it to give you the zap, to remind you of like the nature of his power. He doesn't, by the way, if you guys don't watch My Hero Academia, he doesn't have like electric powers or anything like that. But if you do watch it, it'll make sense. If you read it, that'll make sense. I think I would do like a Midori smash of some kind. So Midori, whiskey, and then maybe basil and peach, or mint and peach, muddled, shaken with... Ooh, that's a tough one. I think probably lime juice. I don't know. I'd have to actually do some R&D on it. But I would make a Midori-based cocktail of some kind, and specifically I'd probably make a Midori smash. If you guys are wondering, by the way, a smash is basically, in a very broad sense, is your base liquor, whatever it is, with herbs or fruit muddled in there, or sometimes they're in there in the form of syrup, with sugar and acidity from citrus typically, shaken and then normally served on the rocks, if I recall correctly. So it's a sour build that has like fruit and herbs in it, kind of is the simplest way of thinking about it. There we go. All right, I am not even halfway through this one. Oh, God. Why? Why, God? Well, it seems to be working. Some of the holes are breaking. The holes are breaking. I could also mute the mic, by the way, if this is too annoying for everybody. Wait a second, hold on. Is this one not locked? Oh, it is locked. Okay. 0.025. 0.025. Okay. There we go. We're making headway now. And the smell is kind of like, besides the smell of my own sweat and tears and blood and urine, it smells like dried, like it smells like cornstarch, kind of. Don't mute it. Make us go through the same pain you must go through. Oh my god. I agree with Brett. I appreciate that, guys. Let the record show I would never force you all to go through any pain that I am going through. Oh, hold on. Wait. Wait. There we go. No grain hoppers were harmed in the making of this live stream. Oh, God. Okay, sweet. That's 3 batches down. My hand's like permanently in a claw now. That's 3 batches down, 2 to go. We have the farro, which is, looking at the grains, I'll show you guys these in a rocks glass too so you can see what they look like. The farro and the quinoa. We'll do another side-by-side actually so that you guys can decide which one we're going to do next. And I'm going to wipe this down with the dry sanitary cloth. Unfortunately, there's not really a good way to show... Oh, hey, I lied. That works. Camera 2. So that's what these grains look like. Right? There's not really much change, but the point isn't that we're trying to make flour or powder out of any of this stuff. We're just trying to break the hulls so that those sugars can get out when we begin exposing these to heat later on in the extraction process, which again is not today. That's for a separate live stream. So, and that's for a separate video as well. All right. I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're thinking to yourself, did Nico drop it on his foot? And I think the more important question is, did I spill any? And I didn't. Oh, God. It's not that heavy. It's like 10 pounds, but... Oh, fuck. It's like right on the joint of my toe. Or it would be, theoretically, if I did drop it on my foot. There we go. They weren't stuck. right, let's make some more bird seed, guys. Before that, let's open these up. The only two that we have left are the quinoa, which we have 4 pounds of, I think, if I recall, or 5 pounds? 4 pounds of quinoa. And then the farro, which we only have a pound and a half of. So this is exactly as much as we need to make a 1 gallon batch. So this is probably going to be faster, but harder to grind, and I'm going to show you why. Scissors are right here. Not do that with scissors in my hands pointed at me. Why was I born broken? Okay, so, really quick. This is what the quinoa looks like. I think many of you have probably seen quinoa before. It's going to look very similar to the millet, and in fact it also smells very similar to the millet. But the individual kernels, the individual grains are not quite as big, but they are still bigger than the grains that we had for the amaranth. This is what farro looks like. Farro. So, you can actually probably notice the individual grains here, but just to make this point clear, that is what a grain of farro looks like. See if I can grab just one. That is, and you can't even see the grain, but that's what I have to do to hold a grain of quinoa. So farro and quinoa. So, which one do you guys want to see next? I have more quinoa than I do have farro, but like I mentioned before, the farro is probably going to grind much slower because those individual pieces are much bigger. While you're making up those... That was stupid. Why did I say that? No. While you're making up your minds is what I meant to say. I'm going to pour myself a shot of whatever I like, because this is my bar and I get to do that. I also no longer need the scissors. I think. Hopefully. We'll find out later on. What am I going to take a shot of? Rum. I don't advise that you do flair with a handle of anything. Did I just spill the rum? No. Hannah says, shot 30, yay! Yes, shot 30. Alright. I am doing a shot of rum. Raise them if you got them. You don't have to have a glass, and if you do have a glass, you absolutely do not have to have alcohol in it, but thank you all for tuning in and making all of this possible. Here's to you. Cheers. All right. I didn't see any votes. I'm leaning toward the farro, not because there's less of it, but because I think it's going to be, these are also the largest individual grains of any of the things that we've had to grind so far. So I'm hoping they will produce the best results. And also kind of because I think it'll go much faster. So, kind of running low on time, I'm going to make an executive decision. We're going to start with this one. And then, because I don't know if I'll be able to grind all 4 pounds of this, I'm going to try and do as much of that as I can at the end of the live stream. So, let's move all of these things around. Farro. No, yes, you spelled it correctly. But I was reading it and I was like, is that an exclamation mark or an L? Alright, you guys know the drill now. We got to get this ready for the thumbnail, okay? We're gonna... No, I'm not gonna lead that way. That'd be stupid. I'm gonna waste stuff. This all smells like pet food, by the way. You got this, guapo. Gracias. All right. I'm not weak, you're weak. This is not my proudest moment, okay? Oh god! All of the regret. It's all there. Everything in my life that led me up to this moment. It's like trying to grind rock candy. It's like somebody filled this thing with Jolly Ranchers. Fresh ones. Cold ones. Jolly Ranchers you put in your freezer. Am I done? Hold on. There we go. No, that's stupid. God damn it. Sigma! Ow. My left shoulder. Alright. Switching sides. It's the beauty of being ambidextrous. Yep. By the way, that was my mom upstairs asking me if I was okay. There we go. Shh. I should have done that first. Whatever. Alpha male grind set. Sigma alpha male grind set. All right. Actually, yeah, those are probably the best results we've had so far. So I'm going to try and do the same thing that we did with the millets. I'm going to try and show you guys what's in here. There's not so much, so to avoid confusion later on. Yeah, you see how before you could see they almost look like individual seeds? Now it's kind of like a meal, like the difference between individual oats and oatmeal. That's kind of what this looks like. Actually, let me scoop some into a rocks glass so that I can give you guys a better example. Yeah, look at that. So, that is probably going to produce a decent beer. Which makes sense. I did say before that farro and this now needs to be cleaned because it's filled with dust. I did say that farro was the most similar to barley, and that I've heard of it being used to make a beer in the past. So it makes sense that it would be it would look like milled barley as well. All right, last one. Got about 20 minutes. Should be just enough time. All right. Here we go. The one you've all been waiting for. Joaquin. Again, smells like pet food. Tastes like pet food. Double grind. I would try to, but I don't have the time to do that tonight. I might do that before I actually make the beer itself. So this one's actually going relatively quickly. It's not falling straight through the way the amaranth was, but it is going faster than when I was milling the millet. Also, if I do a double grind, I'm not stalling, I promise. If I do a double grind, the second grind will probably be... Woof! It'll probably be automated. I'll probably take a drill or something and put it here and just go and let it spin itself. But for the amaranth, which the kernels themselves, the individual grains, are so fine, for that one I'm going to have to get... if I want to do it right, I'm going to need a conical burr grinder with some sort of like infinite adjustment, which just means that like you can basically get the two burrs to like get flush with each other if you need to. I may need to get that. The only reason I don't want to do that is because that's the kind of thing that you would use to make flour. Flour doesn't make good beer. Cardio for today. My one-handed cardio. It doesn't normally look like this. We'll see if that makes it into the edit. Why is my left arm getting tired of just holding this thing down? Flour doesn't make good... Flour, not FLO, but I mean technically true, yes. I'm sure like regular flours don't make good beer as well. Dude, you should wear a Apple Watch or a Fitbit. I have an Apple Watch somewhere. I don't know where. There we go. Woo! That was lame. Take two, all right? We're gonna do that again, all right? From the top. What if the live stream just cut off right then? Okay. I don't mean to brag, but... It took less than 10 minutes. This thing, by the way, on its own is heavy. Smells like bird food. Smells like the kind of thing you would feed your ferret. Okay, so Soprano style. All right. Jesus Christ. So, guys, that is it for this live stream. We were just grinding these. The next step as far as making these individual batches is to... I may need to redo some of the math to figure out exactly the mass of each of these that I need to make 1 gallon of each of these IPAs. I did promise you before that I would explain why we chose the IPA recipe, and luckily we have just enough time. No, we have well more than enough time to explain this. But eventually, we're not only going to be using alternative grains, we're going to be using alternative methods for bittering our beer as well. So instead of using like regular hops that you guys have heard of, things like citronella hops and things like that, we're going to be using things like wormwood and gentian root. We're going to be using hops and bittering agents that also purportedly have medicinal effects as well. So that's going to be a separate experiment when we're done with this, but that's why we're using an IPA recipe, because IPAs typically utilize all of the stages of hopping a beer that you can, and there are 3 different kinds of hops in a broad sense. There's bittering hops, flavoring hops, and aromatic hops, and there are 4 different stages in which you can hop your beer typically. So that's what we're going to do. I shouldn't have chugged that beer while I was stalling for time. So that's why we've chosen the IPA recipe. And actually, we're going to be using a kit so that all of those ingredients remain exactly consistent between all of these different batches. But what that means is that I need to figure out exactly what the carbohydrate content is of the liquid malt extracts and the dry grains that we're getting in these kits, and try to substitute all of that with the grains that we already have. That is going to take some time, so we may not see that for another couple of weeks. And then we're going to go into extraction, which means that you're going to see me boil all of these in a 3-tier gravity setup. And I am not going to explain that to you now. I will explain it to you when we do that during the live stream, and I'll explain it in a video probably later on. But you can Google it. 3-tier TIER gravity setup. Basically, I'm going to need a source of heat, a kettle of some kind, a sparge water tank, and another tank in the middle. Then the name of it is, I'm blanking on it because I am sweating and short of breath. But that is it for this live stream, guys. Hopefully I see you all for the next stage of making all of these different kinds of beers, and hopefully we get to taste what the final product of all of this is like well down the road. But thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thank you for all of your help and support. Hopefully I've been helpful and supportive as well. If you learned anything, please remember to follow, like, and subscribe if you're watching this over on YouTube. And the next live stream is going to be tomorrow, same time, same place, God willing. But we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's not going to be beer themed. I am going to be making hopefully, video game themed drinks. I'll let your minds go wild on exactly what that is, but it's a game that's the open beta is coming out, I think, in late April. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm going to be creating 5 signature drinks for a team that I happen to be a huge fan of, that I've worked with in the past, and I will leave it at that for now. Hopefully we see you guys then tomorrow. If not, take care. Until then, be good, be kind, be helpful, and hopefully we see you guys in the next live stream. Take care, everybody.